Hello, I am Dr. Joseph Isaac, former assistant professor of clinical psychology and writer of 4 books on psychological treatment. Today, I am going to discuss the chemical imbalance theory of mental disorders, which is very popular in the mental health field. For your information and serious thought. The chemical imbalance theory is based on the wrong belief that mental disorders are caused by chemical changes in the brain. In the very outset, let me tell you that this is a stupid theory and a semantic impossibility, and I totally refute this because both brain and mind are not one and the same. In my previous talks, I was trying to inculcate a new model of mind or consciousness based on the philosophical perspectives derived from the insights of quantum physics that mind and brain are different dualistic entities interacting in nature, and that disorders of mind can never, ever be equated with the disorders of the brain. Brain, as you know, is made up of pure matter of atoms and molecules, and it is in the particle form, and mind is in the wave form. And it is the mind or consciousness that inroads into the material brain cells and activates and changes the brain chemistry and not the other way around. This is a very important scientific topic about which everybody is interested to know, and is the main rationalizing pillar on which the entire psychiatric drugging is constructed. When a psychiatrist prescribes a drug to a person who comes with mental health problem for consultation, the patient and the general public at large think that a lot of medical science is involved in this drug prescription, and the drug is a specific medical treatment for this mental problem. Is this a truth or a myth reinforced in society by massive propaganda, or does it have a medical or scientific basis for psychiatric prescriptions? This is the fundamental question that every person should ask himself before taking a psychiatric drug. Not only the layman, but even educated people and even physicians today blindly believe that the microchemical molecules like the neurotransmitters like serotonin, norepinephrine, glutamate and dopamine create imbalances, and these imbalances are the causes of various mental disorders. The whole community is deeply drowned in this sea of self-perpetuating myths and consider this a logical, scientific and medical truth without studying in detail the quantum chemistry and molecular biology. That is why our mental health field is submerged in ignorance and fallacious assumptions, which in turn qualify as delusions, are ruining the mental health field. The pharmaceutical companies and its allies, with their economic affluence, have succeeded in laying out their materialistic network, creating a mass hysteria in the public that drugs can create magical cures in the mind, which is, according to me, a silly idea and a nonsense blindly accepted without any logical thinking. Remember, our mind is a non-material wave function which does not occupy any space or mass or flesh in the human body. No doubt, drugs can increase toxicity in the neuronal cells and disable the brain, which is a material part of the body, but it can never improve the mind or heal the anguish and pain that a person is suffering or he is keeping in the subconscious mind. Gullible people foolishly believe that these drugs work as a magic bullet for treating mental disturbances, and they live in this blissful world of ignorance and think that the drug prescription is scientific. What is the adverse consequence of this false belief? People who indiscriminately consume these drugs, thinking that their chemical imbalances will be rectified, will fall into the ineluctable trap of drug addiction and brain damage after prolonged use of these drugs. That should be the greatest concern of all the mental health professionals. In order to clear the cloud of ignorance and demystify the myths about chemical imbalances, I take this opportunity to quote the world-famous American psychiatrist Dr. Peter Breggin, who is popularly known as the conscience of American psychiatry. I have great respect for Dr. Peter Breggin because of his incomparable intellectual honesty and his sincere contribution that he has done in reforming the world of mental health. In his book, Brain Disabling Treatments in Psychiatry, Dr. Peter Breggin vehemently criticized the chemical imbalance theory and concluded, within quotes, psychiatric drugs achieve their primary or essential effect by causing brain dysfunction, and that they tend to do far more harm than good. Psychiatric drugs are not specific treatments for any particular mental disorder. Instead of correcting biochemical imbalances, psychiatric drugs cause them, sometimes permanently. Despite more than 200 years of intensive research, no commonly diagnosed psychiatric disorders have been proven to be either genetic or biological in origin, including schizophrenia, major depression, manic depressive disorder, the various anxiety disorders, and childhood disorders such as attention deficit hyperactivity. At present, there are no known biochemical imbalances in the brain of typical psychiatric patients until they are given psychiatric drugs. It is speculative and even naive to assert that antidepressants such as Prozac correct underactive serotonergic neurotransmission, a serotonin biochemical imbalance, or that neuroleptics such as Haldol correct overactive dopaminergic neurotransmission, which is called a dopamine imbalance. The failure to demonstrate the existence of any brain abnormality in psychiatric patients, despite decades of intensive effort, suggests that these defects did not exist. Page number 2 and 5 of the book Brain Disabling Treatments in Psychiatry by psychiatrist Dr. Peter Breggin. In the foreword to the famous book Reality Therapy in Action, written by the world-renowned psychiatrist Dr. William Glasser, Dr. Peter Breggin has made it explicitly clear, within quotes, nothing has harmed the quality of life in modern society more than the misbegotten belief that human suffering is driven by biological and genetic causes and can be rectified by taking drugs or undergoing electroshock therapy. Modern psychiatry has made the most ugly story possible about human conflict and emotional pain, reducing it to nothing more than bad genes and unbalanced chemical reactions. If I wanted to ruin someone's life, I would convince the person that biological psychiatry is right and that the mechanics of a broken brain reign over our emotions and conduct. If I wanted to impair an individual's capacity to create empathic, loving relationships, I would prescribe the psychiatric drugs, all of which blunt our highest psychological and spiritual functions. Page number 2. Dr. Breggin had discussed the theory of biochemical imbalances in almost all his books and had categorically stated that this theory has absolutely no scientific basis. Has absolutely no scientific basis, and it is mere speculation. In his book, Your Drug May Be Your Problem, How and Why to Stop Taking Psychiatric Medications, he said, within quotes, we have no techniques for measuring the actual levels of neurotransmitter in the synapses between the cells. Thus, all talk about biochemical imbalances is pure guesswork. More important, what is actually being studied is the disruption of normal processes by the intrusion of foreign substances. This research in no way bolsters the idea that psychiatric drugs correct imbalances. Rather, it shows that psychiatric drugs create imbalances. With close quotes. Therefore, it's very clear From what is said above, it's very clear that chemical imbalance theory is unscientific, obsolete, and is primarily invented to market drugs. In actual reality, which is the emotional stress that a person undergoes in his daily life and the resultant effects of negative programming in his mind actually creates changes in the biochemistry in the brain and the body. Dr. Joseph Mullen, clinical instructor in psychiatry in the Harvard Medical School, had admitted this very important fact in the following way. Within quotes, all kinds of stress hormones and chemical signs would be coursing through your brain and body. But these biochemical events would be the result of your psychological distress, not the cause. They would be the cart, not the horse. If a biochemical imbalance is ever found, it should come as no surprise that psychological states have physiological correlates. Instead, in the past decade, hypothetical biochemical imbalances have been presented to the public as established facts. The result is an undue inflation of the drug market as well as an unfortunate downplaying of the need for psychological treatments for many patients. Close quotes. Thank you very much.